Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
How in the hell can anybody be so utterly stupid as to build a rocket base on the coast of Florida?
This is episode 272, reviewing The Revenge of Dr. X from 1970, recorded July 15th, 2026.
Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host and I will tackle another classic, or not so classic, film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. With me tonight are my co-hosts, starting off with Jeff Moore. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Not so classic, I think would be a good description.
Yeah, this one might be a not so classic.
You know what? I'm doing good. I got here, we're on time, and all that stuff. And no matter all the other crap that's happened in the last 10 days is all minor.
All minor. Also joining us tonight is Bill Mulligan, writer, director, special effects guru, all-around nice guy, published author, lover of cats. How you doing, Bill?
I'm very tired. I just got back from a 2-week trip to upstate New York, visiting family, and good time, but pulled in many directions. And now I'm about to I'm going to do this. And in 2 days, I go running off to Congregate Convention in Greensboro, North Carolina. Maybe I'll run into some people I know there. Yeah.
Put your bunkers on. Maybe you won't. Yeah.
As long as they have air conditioning.
Speaking of New York, our sub host and a good friend of the show, Gregory Crosby, poet, New Yorker, man about town. How you doing, Gregory?
Yeah, not much a man about town today because it's 98 degrees here in NYC. But
yeah.
Man about his apartment.
Yes, yeah, very much a man about his air-conditioned apartment. Correct.
You know, Doc, I like to refer to the subs as the it's like Sherlock Holmes, only it's the Gruesome Magazine irregulars.
Oh, they're pretty
like
irregular.
Baker Street irregulars.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, they're special.
I just made that up.
Yeah, no, that's good. Jeff. I was just thinking calling us the ghosts. The ghosts.
The ghosts.
Because we sometimes appear and sometimes you just feel like with Jerry Chandler, you just somehow feel the presence. So.
Feel. All right, tonight, as you have heard, we're reviewing Revenge of Dr. X. We're going to start off giving you, after we do a little skinny about the film, we're going to give you our first impressions. Then we're going to dive into a little bit of discussion about the film. We're going to do cast of characters, all few of them, and then talk about the marketing, cast and crew, and some surprises about the film, and then wrap things up with our feedback. And we love feedback. Real quick, we want to thank all our patrons. All right, before we get started, Jeff, you want to say a little something about Play Now Media?
Well, yeah, we partner with Play Now Media, which is a streaming service with a whole lot of subgenre, sub-subgenre, etc. Streaming channels. And in fact, Decades of Horror of the 1970s is on the Wicked Horror TV channel. And it plays like a lot of other streaming suppliers. My words. I have words. Let's see. Okay. Words. I just got to remember. Hat. Okay. All right.
Label everything.
Yeah. So if you just go to one of their websites and you can just watch them, you will get ads. You won't get the premium content. If you create an account, you can save stuff, your favorites, and it'll remember where you were at. Or if you subscribe for a monthly fee, you will get to see everything. And there won't be any ads.
No ads.
Go check them out. And I would strongly encourage people that haven't done so to go to playnowmedia.com, click on the menu up I think it's in the upper right, and you can find a list of their channels, and you'll see one that you just think, I gotta have that. I gotta go watch those.
Devil Bat's daughter. Where has this been all my life?
That's tough. All right, let's dive straight into the card and get things going. The Revenge of Dr. X from 1970 or 1967, depending on where it was released and who released it. Directed by Norman Earl Thompson and written by Norman Earl Thompson. From an uncredited story by Ed Wood.
Whoa.
Isn't that amazing? The cast includes James Craig, Toda Kondo, Al Ricketts, Asuko Rome, Edward M. Shannon, John Stanley, and James Yagi. Production company is Two Continent Film and Tow Company. Filming locations, Japan. Filming dates, about 4 weeks. Release date in Japan, 1967, or someplace else in 1970. Synopsis: a NASA scientist turns a Venus flytrap into a monstrous humanoid while on vacation in Japan. What else are you?
As one does. Yeah.
So Doc, while you got that up there,
Yes.
almost the cast, the ingenuity of naming the characters just blows me away, because the actor John Stanley played Dr. Stanley. And the actor Edward Shannon played Dr. Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
That helps.
That's pretty much it.
That really cuts down on the outtakes when you accidentally call someone by their real name. And it's always a sign of quality when you see that the characters are named after their actual actors. So.
No one has to remember their characters' names.
Oh man! Well, let's find out what our first impressions of this wonderful film is. And Bill, you chose this, so give us a little background about why you chose it as well.
Oh, that sounded vaguely accusatory. Okay, so here's the deal. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was in Tim Lucas's marvelous magazine, Video Watchdog. Steve Bissett, who is, Chad would know this, one of the great comic book artists, a master of, he did Swamp Thing, he did The Independent Tyrant, which I believe is coming back. Just a cool guy, really cool guy, and a huge horror movie fan. Sent in a letter saying, hey, could anyone help me out? I rented this video. It's got the plot of and description of the Mad Doctor of Blood Island, but it's not. And he gave a description about it and everything, and said maybe it's called Insectivorous because he keeps yelling that, and then people kept, and this is as true now as it was then. People kept writing in saying, "Oh, it sounds like the Mad Doctor of Blood Island." And it's like, Doomkoff, read what he wrote. We do get that is what is printed on the back. That's not the film. Angelique Pettyjohn is not in this movie. And it felt like it fell out of a black hole. And it started a quest to find out about this movie. And it was just baffling. Well, I found the Regal video with its beautiful cover that has nothing to do with anything. And it's titled The Mad Revenge of Dr. X. There is no Dr. X, and he has no revenge because he isn't there. And I watched it. I'm like, this is the craziest, weirdest thing I've ever seen. And this dialogue is like something from an Ed Wood movie. So imagine my shock when, as all these, weaponized autistics out there are trying to figure out where this movie came from, they discover a link to the very same Edward D. Wood that he apparently made a movie, or claimed that he had sold a screenplay for a movie called The Venus Flytrap. And the only possible movie it could be is this one. And then it all starts making sense.
Well, making sense.
Yeah, for years.
Kind of sense, yeah.
But there were so many rabbit holes. This thing is, so much time has been spent on this. To call it marginal would be the biggest compliment this movie's ever got. So much time has been spent trying to understand where this came from, who's responsible, what they were thinking. And we still don't know a lot, and we will never know a lot, because now we're at the point where everyone involved is dying off. Is it good? No, but it's so bad that it circles all the way around 180 to getting kind of good, but then it keeps right on going back to bad. Oh yeah, it's not good. It's just not good, but it is unwatchably bad. And it's a perfect film for the kind of folks like Riff Tracks and Mystery Science Theater and all the folks who grew up on that, or a bunch of your drunk buddies sitting around. You can make fun of this film and feel no guilt whatsoever, because everyone who was involved with it was barely trying. And it's just a marvelous, baffling little thing that should have disappeared, and I guess came this close to vanishing without a trace. And you wonder how many things like that are out there and how many of them are still waiting to be discovered, although they better not wait long, because this one already looks like, you know, they used a demagnetizer over the one known videotape copy of it. There's no good version out there. Don't bother. Get the Blu-ray if you want to see all the imperfections in HD, but it's not going to look any better. There's just a part of me that really likes this movie, and I have a warm spot in my heart for Edward D. Wood. And this is, in my mind, kind of his last hurrah. The last film that came out of his that he was involved with that deserves the Edward D. Wood treatment. Because I'll talk a little bit about what his last years were like, and they weren't good. This is a high point. God help us all.
God help us all.
And I just felt I had to inflict this on a bunch of people, because this like, you know, has to be shared.
You're just so lucky Chad's not here.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, about what time what year did you first see this movie?
Oh, as soon as I saw Steve Bissett's letter, I was immediately going to. We had these wonderful old mom and pop video stores, which I'm pretty sure 100% were drug laundering things. So this would have been mid 80s.
Mid 80s. Wow.
Hey, buddy, you got that white zombie video? Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Yeah. And they had all the gray market stuff, and Regal Video. Regal Video was actually in a lot of video stores. They must have had bulk things where they would just give you a lot. Wizard Video and Regal Video really had a lot of crap, but it was stuff you couldn't get from any of the major. This was not going to be released by anyone who cared. So yeah, I as soon as I heard about it, I made a quest to reach out, and it did not disappoint.
Did not disappoint.
It was exactly as terrible as I thought it was going to be.
Oh my goodness. Gregory, when did you first see this? What was your first impression?
Dear Lord, I first saw. Well, here's the story. Here's my theory about this movie. So in the late 70s, a British poet by the name of Craig Raine wrote a famous poem called "A Martian Sends a Postcard Home." And the conceit of the poem was the Martian sees your Earthlings doing normal Earthling things and gets it all wrong, right? It thinks a phone is a haunted apparatus that people tickle to wake up, that kind of thing, right? Very famous. So now picture a Martian or other alien coming to Earth, but instead of getting things wrong, they've seen a handful of films that have somehow been beamed out on late night television. You know, that old theory that TV waves went out forever into the galaxy, right? But the only movies this Martian has seen, this alien has seen, are Frankenstein, Destroy All Monsters, and The Day of the Triffids. And when this alien arrives at Earth through some bizarre machinations, which may or may not involve Ed Wood Jr., because let's face it, Ed Wood had his finger on the pulse of aliens visiting Earth with strange plans, numbered plans, is asked to make a movie. And the only thing this alien knows is the elements from these handful of movies that it has seen in very grainy, interstellar versions. And it's come to Earth, and it has done the best job. This alien has done the best job. I know this movie is supposedly directed by someone with a human name. I think that's a pseudonym for a Martian who did the very best they could in making a film. And I will say that probably the alien, when they arrived on Earth, just to make sure that they were making a film correctly, even though they'd only seen Frankenstein, Destroy All Monsters, and Day of the Triffids, they said, well, let me watch the Quatermass Experiment. Wow, Brian Donlevy, amazing. Get me an actor who looks like a strange clone of Dana Andrews, And I'm going to have him play this scientist, this NASA scientist, who for some reason is also a crazy genetic botanist, as if he's a intense, angry Brian Donlevy version of Quatermass. And that's going to be the anchor of my brilliant film, which I'll call The Revenge of Dr. X because it sounds cool. That was my impression this afternoon for the first time. This film.
Oh my gosh.
This is. You remember that movie that I was a guest on, an irregular on, that took place in the funeral home and the zombies in the cemetery, and I forget the name.
Was that Ghoulies?
No. This was like
no.
This was really bad.
The corpse something or others.
Yes,
the corpse eaters.
Something corpse eaters.
Corpse eaters.
This is literally the worst horror movie I have ever seen. There's a new sheriff in town.
There's a new sheriff. Move over, corpse eaters.
This is literally the worst movie, and I can prove that this is now officially the worst horror movie I've ever seen by simply saying the fact that as I'm watching this, thinking I've never seen this, at some point I suddenly think this seems weirdly familiar. Once they get to Japan and the so-called abandoned hotel and the greenhouse, I'm like, why does this feel so familiar? And then I, of course, searched it up, and I realized that Riff Tracks had done this, and that I had tried to watch the Riff Tracks version of this film and turned it off halfway through.
Yeah.
I couldn't even take the Riff Tracks version of this.
And then we made you watch the whole thing.
There is nothing that'll make me watch this movie, and somewhere Bill was like, wait, I just got this crazy idea in my head.
Yeah, this proves me that this is now the new champion of the worst horror movies ever. That said, the mad scientist performance in this, I think Bill is right. It circles through the worst, and it comes into like, oh my God, I can't stop watching this guy.
Yeah.
And then he's even worse. And yet it's an amazing, terrible performance. So that is my first impression. This is literally the worst. And to top it all off, it is I don't know how to even explain how bad this movie looks in terms of its cinematography. I don't even know. I don't even know. So there you go. That was my long-winded first impression of this disaster piece.
Disaster piece. Excellent. Jeff Morriser, when did you first catch this disaster piece, and what was your first impression?
Well, I watched maybe a third of it when Bill first picked it, so a few weeks ago.
A third of it.
And I'm not wasting this any extra minutes of this. So it's so bizarre. So it depends on where you watch it. So I tried watching it on Tubi, but then I picked one not on Tubi, on YouTube. I picked one that somebody had spliced in a corrected intro that had Body of the Prey for the title, and in the background was a bunch of insects in like a meadow or something, all close up. That was it. That was instead of giving me, and it had the credits for the right people, instead of giving us the credits for Mad Doctor of Blood Island. And if you look at that, I don't know if anybody noticed it, but the directors of Mad Doctor of Blood Island were Eddie Romero and Gerardo De Leon, who was one of the top directors in the Philippines back then, who, had to keep working to make money. But we did one of his movies called The Blood Drinkers on Classic Era.
That's right.
So anyway, that's my 6 connections to somebody other than Ed Wood. But the guy is terrible. This guy, and I'm not saying anything about the guy. He's passed away, but some of those lines sounded like he was having a little trouble forming the words. I just felt like he might have had a little afternoon pick me up or
Oh.
something. You know?
Maybe he was
Cool.
taking the Brian Donlevy thing a little too serious.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right. That could be. That could be. I'm just saying. I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but anyway. Oh my God! And then the everything about it. The automated subtitles are so bad because the lead female has a fairly thick accent, and they got no idea what she's saying most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know what that's going to pop up with, and it has nothing to do with what she's saying. So you just got to really tune in and try to pick it out. Yeah, you already mentioned all the. I mean, he yells.
Yeah,
he just. I start yelling, and then the next time he talks to her, what is her name? Noriko. Next time he talks to her, he's like, "Oh, I was a little carried away last night." Yes, you were. It's, you know, but then they're buddies again until the next time he screams at her, which is about 5 minutes.
Right.
I believe it's called an abusive relationship.
Mhm.
I think that's,
Hey,
so.
oh, he absolutely is.
Yeah. Wow.
So anyway, I was waiting for him to start to feed those nude pearl divers or mussel harvesters to the thing. Anyway, I don't. Oh. Bill has always said this, and I don't think he mentioned it, but the music.
Oh my God.
Is so inappropriate. You start off with, you get this like weird, intermittently throughout it, you get this weird organ that kind of reminds me of the Carol Burnett show when they were spoofing soap operas. You know?
Right. Could it be
terrible?
Yeah.
Music.
That's why I felt it had to be a Martian, because it was like only a Martian would think any of this music was appropriate for any of them.
That's right. And then when there's something super dangerous going on, it almost sounds like it's from a comedy film. I'm like, oh, what in the hell? All right, I'm done.
Oh man, I knew nothing about this film. It had escaped me. I had not the privilege or the opposite of privilege of knowing about this movie. It is. Oh my God, it's terrible. It is. It's a bad copy, but like you said, there's no other version. It kind of helps the film. It's a bad copy. It's got the craziest creature design that makes no flipping sense, but does. And yeah, the dialogue is like insanely terrible. And you were mentioning the all the, oh my God, the closed captioning on this is atrocious. It just makes up words at times. But I mean, that's not even a word. What is that? You put it there. It's like they just gave up and went. Blah, blah, blah.
That's what she said. That's what it sounded like.
I know. It was just like, but it. Yeah, it's bad. I don't know what else to say about this movie other than it's just absolutely terrible.
You know, Doc. It suddenly occurred to me, one of the redeeming things about this movie is that at least none of the puppies were eaten.
That was.
This will not show up on doesthedogdie.com.
It gets close though. It gets close. It puts them in danger.
They really. But I kept expecting that to happen, and in that moment I was like, no. But they actually, none of those puppies, those adorable puppies, get actually eaten.
Or the lamb.
Well, wait a minute.
The goat, the greatest of all time, there at the end.
The version I saw, a puppy got eaten.
Did it?
I mean, the puppy's playing there. I mean, the Venus Flytrap thing.
Oh, that's right. It has a thing in his mouth.
Oh, his arms aren't that long.
Yeah, but it has the collar in his mouth.
I thought she came and rescued. I thought that was one of the ones that she rescued from.
No, my wife's giving me looks now. It's like, what the hell were you watching? Trust me, that's the least problem with this movie.
You don't want to know.
I just can't wait to talk about all of the insane details about this.
There's so much like every time I watch it, I forget that there's that whole subplot where I guess he's turning into a plant because his hand is turning green, and it goes nowhere.
I was going to ask about that.
Because I forgot to mention the Martian also saw The Fly, the original Fly. So it was like, oh yeah, bad
they missed the ending.
Yeah.
Because he gets a little scratch, and then she wants to take care of him, and he's like, no. That's what he yells at her again.
I'm just wearing this to keep from getting a cut or something like that. It was like
then he puts a glove on,
But then his other hand changes too, right? So
yes, there's
something's happening, but
there is it's insane, but there is moments where you go, well, somebody, whoever is making this is trying. They're trying to make a horror movie. They're getting it completely wrong.
Yeah.
They are trying.
Well, we get to the Ed Wood stuff. I've got some theories.
Yes,
that's all they will ever be. This is a movie. The one fun thing about this movie is that it's easy to speculate on things because we're given so little, and we will never be proven wrong because I think everything that can be said about this or found out about this has been found. Everything else has either died or disintegrated or, but although I say that, but every year they seem to find new Ed Wood stuff.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Just hidden.
The man was working like a Trojan because he drank a lot, and liquor stores will not give you stuff for free. So he was pouring himself out to everyone who would give him a dime.
To be charitable, it's entirely possible that this was just a story that Ed Wood sold to the so-called director.
That's one theory.
And that this director, that is not pure Edward D. Wood Jr. dialogue.
It's definitely not pure, but a lot of folks have said on the basis of no evidence whatsoever, because we didn't even know who the director was until after he was dead. That it was his screenplay, Ed Wood's screenplay, was heavily rewritten. I suspect that's true because I doubt that he wrote a screenplay in '55 to take place in Japan. There was no reason why he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I suspect he didn't write a screenplay where a NASA scientist decides to create a walking Venus flytrap.
I think that's very Ed Wood. That because he says, "Hey,
there was no NASA in 1955."
Oh, okay, that's true. That's true. When did
just a mad scientist was making?
Historical.
Why isn't this guy just a mad scientist? It's like this whole like, God, my job is so stressful. It's giving me a migraine.
You're right. You're right. That kind of blows my theory up, because one of the most Ed Woodian bits of dialogue was your quote. It sounds straight out of Ed Wood, but why would he write that if they weren't shooting rockets in 1955?
It's so strange.
Well, but and then she says to him this: "You are no longer Dr. Bragan's scientist. You are Dr. Bragan madman."
That sounds very Ed Wood, boy.
That sounds very Ed Wood. Yes.
Along with the lightning is your mother and the earth is your father and your cousin.
No. There are moments in here that are pure Ed Wood, but I'm suspecting that there were many things that were done to this because, wow.
And of course, we don't know if Ed supposedly he wrote this in '55 or so, but could he have done anything when he sold? We know nothing. We know so very little. There are some people who insist Wood had nothing to do with this. But I kind of doubt that because he thought he had on his resume. Now, Ed Wood in his resumes had a lot of movies that either only existed in his alcohol-soaked brain or are lost films or are lost films waiting to be rediscovered or two of the same films and he just didn't realize they had different titles. He would embellish his record.
But I'm sure the story is Ed Wood. But just picture Bela Lugosi in the swamp making walking Venus Flytrap, and then you're like, oh, of course,
sure,
of course.
Everything else is like, okay. By the way, when I watched this on Tubi and it popped up with a 1967 date on it for Decades of Horror, the 1970s, I immediately called out loud shenanigans.
Well,
shenanigans.
And then when the movie started, I thought all of these people look like it's 1967. Yeah. All of the Japanese actors in this look like they just stepped off the set of Destroy All Monsters. Come on. So
Well, that's because in the classic era, we have 50 years to cover, and we don't have to stoop this low.
We don't have to,
Yeah.
But it's not the only film that was, part 60s, part 70s.
Yeah,
No.
no. We did Equus that had, or no, Equinox that had.
Oh, I was going to say Equus. We were classing up the joint.
I was gonna say, where are we going with that? But speaking of, identity problems, this film has an identity problem. Check out these, also known as
yes.
because it's Body of the Prey, also known
Okay.
as Revenge of the Venus Flytrap, the Devil Garden, the Double Garden, or just Venus Flytrap, and then where did Frankenstein come from?
That's now, because
Some
this
late
movie,
reissue.
this movie is so in the public domain that they should just give a copy to every single person on earth and let them release it. You can make up your own title. You can chop up the pieces and put it together like a William Burroughs novel. You could do whatever you want with this movie. And so people have come up with Frankenplant's a better name than the Double Garden. The Double Garden makes no sense. It's believed by some scholars who have wasted many hours of their life thinking about this film that the Double Garden is just a mistranslation of the Devil's Garden, which would at least make sense as a title.
Right.
And unclear, and the public domain. If the public domain was a person, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want it. It's not mine.
I don't want this.
Yeah.
Because in Wikipedia it's listed as Venus Flytrap, and then on IMDb it's Body of the Prey. But
honestly, Revenge of the Venus Flytrap sounds like a black exploitation thing. So
right?
Right? I mean, but Revenge of Dr. X, we'll never know. We'll never understand.
Never know.
What's the unreleased sequel to WKRP?
Yeah.
The Revenge of Venus Flytrap.
Right.
Oh my God. Okay. Let's do the character cards because there's only 3. So wait a minute, what are we doing? Here we go. There's not much in the images are difficult, but we'll do what we can. This is James Craig as Dr. Bragan.
Has this man been in anything else, Jeff?
Lots of stuff.
Yeah,
this is towards early on in his career. Should we talk about him? Well, we got a card for him later.
We'll talk about his stuff, but it's like insane how much stuff he's been doing.
Again, he looks like I sat there watching, thinking like this is just like it's some kind of weird clone of Dana Andrews, who has been told to play this as if he was Quatermass, the Don Levy Quatermass sort of thing, and it's just the most bizarre. It's a bizarre performance, but you have to say, well, it makes sense because it is a completely psychotically bizarre character.
He was James Craig was signed by MGM in the early 40s because they thought he looked and sounded like Clark Gable, and they thought Clark Gable was going to go into the war effort, and may have. I don't know for sure, but anyway,
slip this guy in, nobody would notice.
We'll just slide him in.
But it's just there's just an insane character. There's no you could not possibly figure out.
No, you don't know what he's going to do
motivations whatsoever. So.
It's obvious that there's no, or almost no, probably no second takes on anything because they step over each other's dialogue all the time, but then
or you feel like they've got the wrong pages because the guy walks in the room, says something, and he's like, "Oh, I seem to have forgotten my cigarettes." It's like, what?
They couldn't have second takes on this because by the end of the first take, all of the scenery has been chewed down to the nose. There's no scenery left to do a second take in.
This guy will snap if someone just says anything, and then he shows up in the garage and the world's dirtiest mechanic. A guy walks out and there's dirt falling off the dirt that's on his dirty face, and he's all jovial and friendly and like everyone's just like the sweetest guy you'd ever see. Like he loves everyone.
Yeah, him and his snakes and his neck. The rest of him isn't dirty at all. It's just his face is dirty, and you get this sense of like, oh, they're just making like a dirty Southerner.
Yeah,
This is
no,
like
no,
dirty Southerner stereotype where they're just
Yeah.
like, oh, well, he's gonna be dirty. We're not gonna make him look like he actually has been working under a car all day.
I think
Put some dirt on his face, you know.
Dub Taylor and Jack Elam and Strother Martin were busy.
Yeah.
Thankfully for their careers. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, amazing character.
Yeah. Not much else to say about it. I mean, that is the character, and
I wish he was Dr. X, because then he'd be iconic. He'd be like, do you know about the other Dr. X, the most insane mad scientist in the history of mad science movies? But no one ever calls him Dr. X ever.
No, just in the title. This is Atsuko Romi as Noriko Hanamura. Something like that.
Long-suffering assistant.
Yes. 40.
My favorite moment for her character is when he's like ordering her out of the greenhouse laboratory, and he's go, "Hey, my family owns this place. I can go wherever I want." I was like, good for you. Thank you for finally standing up to this.
Well, he's so nice too. This is a resort hotel my family owns. He goes, well, I can see why it didn't make it.
Oh, here's a convenient stock footage volcano just on the other side of the valley. That's the reason why it didn't go so well.
That's probably the reason it didn't do well.
It's constantly exploding in a way that makes you think that you should flee for your life. But it's no big deal. We're just going to turn away from the stock footage now and continue with the plot. Amazing.
It's and he dies in that, it was Chekhov's volcano, I guess. They showed it to us.
That's right.
Said it's fairly harmless. You don't have to worry about it. Boom, he falls into it at the end.
Yeah.
Sort of.
That's my favorite shot of the whole movie was the it wasn't quite the closing scene, but the lamb standing on top of the
the lamb.
No, I meant it when I said goat, greatest of all time. It's that goat who's just like, I'm the king of this.
That's right. I won the Game of Thrones.
The joke I said with the Martian only ever seen Frankenstein. It's literally 1931 James Whale with the burning windmill. It's the exact same idea,
That shot with the goat reminded me so much of God Monster of Indian Flats, which this movie shares so much with. Where for no reason we have that ending, and then they zoom in like to the rabbits, and you're like, "What?" Just makes you think.
God Monster of Indian Flats is like the Magnificent Ambersons compared to this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Good Lord.
And they did put out a Blu-ray of that. And it's pretty good. You can actually tell what the God Monster looks like.
Oh my gosh!
There you go.
Oh my gosh! All right, our third and final card is
he's gone already.
Is the Sectivorous. At least
we're not going to do that. We're not going to do the Phantom of the Opera organ Toccata Fugue D minor.
No. Images are scarce. Images are scarce.
There's so many great shots of him. There's so many great shots of him just staring at whatever's going on. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Cut to just him going like, and then it fades out. Yeah. Yep. Anyway.
Well, I love when he's playing on the organ. It's like,
Our Family's Hotel didn't do well. Apparently, nobody likes creepy organ music. It's the weirdest thing.
This is the only monster that wears a dickie, as far as I
is that what that is?
That wears what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, to be fair, if you were a kid, you would love this monster, because this would be this kind of monster you would see and you'd be like, I want to draw that. I'm going to draw Insectivorous.
Yes, exactly. And he's got like Venus Flytrap hands.
It is actually kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. And I could see it fighting Ultraman.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's what it needs to do. Is it needs to like grow big and.
This is one of those things. Maybe in all the endless amounts of time that I'm supposed to be having in retirement, I can build myself a Insectaurus costume here and go to like Dragon Con and have 1 out of 1,000 people walk up to me and say, "Oh my God, the Revenge of Dr. X." Virtually no one else will know, but I will be friends with those people for life.
You should remake it. You could remake this movie, and no
one would do a damn thing about it.
No, it's true. I would always do very abstract Halloween costumes, and the one person at the party who got it, I was like, I want to talk to you for the rest of the night.
That's right. You passed the test.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. That's our cast of characters. As thin as they are, as thin as this movie is. But there you go.
Does that mean it's time for?
Uh-oh.
It is.
It is. It is.
But-
But I haven't pre-staged it, so
Uh,
I just sit here through the whole first half of the episode, just going, "Oh, this is fun." Oh shit, I got to do something. Turn off that. And now it's time for Taglines with Chad, with the part of Chad played by Bill Mulligan.
it's worth it just for that image.
And you think, how could this movie have taglines? This movie barely exists. And yet, somehow, taglines. Its mother was the earth. Its father was the lightning. Close.
But
That's actually pretty good. If I saw that on a poster, I'd be like, okay, I'm take my money. Let's find out. What
Yeah. And then we leave with our last one. It lusts for blood.
Ho ho, very funny. Ha ha, it is to laugh.
And that's been Taglines with Chad, with the part of Chad played by Bill Mulligan.
Chad's our
Bell.
hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
So were those taglines from actual posters, Jeff? Or were
No,
those
there were no posters for this movie.
No, it's a fan
Well,
poster or something.
Well, I mean, there are no legit posters. There's posters after the fact. If there'd been an actual poster for this movie, we would have solved all its mysteries. But we think this was released in Japan, but we don't know. I don't know if there's an advertisement anywhere for it or.
Well, I thought I read that the what you said about the Devil Garden, that the Japanese title translated to Devil Garden, and you could hear somebody going, "What does that translate to?" Devil Garden. Oh, Devil Garden. Okay. Whoop.
Yeah.
I will say that when I looked up the Riff Tracks version of this again, they clearly had to have an artist create something
Mm-hmm.
for their version of it, because they were not ripping off an actual poster.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a horrible green one out there that it must be from it.
Yeah.
But there's this one, which is, let's just pretend, for the sake of pretending, that this is the poster, because it's
Sure.
It's
It's not. I mean, the only problem with this poster is giant plant monster at the top. Like, spoilers. Come on.
Yes.
He looks about the size of an average Japanese costume wearer guy.
Yep.
That's actually not a bad poster. It's very.
No, that's what I'm saying. You just take giant plant monster off the top. I'm like, okay, what the hell is this? Sure.
I mean, we got an angry scientist. We've got the plant monster in a lovely silhouette with lightning, his mom apparently behind him, and we've got a screaming woman.
And the scientist looks like he's getting ready to yell at somebody.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's very disappointing.
Ready at us.
He looks ready for some revenge, is what he looks like.
Well, yeah.
So I just saw Dana Andrews. I'm throwing this in just for Jeff. I just saw Dana Andrews. MoMA did a huge retrospective of Universal Westerns, and they played Canyon Passage, a Jacques Tourneur film, and which is pretty good. Except Dana Andrews he truly is. I mean, sometimes Dana Andrews is fine, but in most things, he's truly the stiffest human being to ever be.
He's not a good cowboy.
He's not terrible in it, but everybody else in the movie feels like an actual person, and Dana Andrews feels like I'm Dana Andrews pretending to be a cowboy.
Yeah,
He's much better
Dana
at
Andrews
film
and
noir.
John Agar together, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, he's much more suited to. But the fun fact about Canyon Passage is that it also stars who? Brian Donlevy. So that was my Jeff Moore connection right there.
There we go.
There we go. Continue.
So here's another thing. What is this from?
This is the thing that started all. This is the Regal video release. As near as we can tell, the first time it was ever released into the United States was on Regal Video, and there's the description, which is a pretty good description for a different movie. A movie that starred John Ashley and Ronald Remy and Angelique Pettyjohn.
That is the video cassette cover.
That's the video cassette. Yeah.
What is the other movie? The name of the actual movie that these people are in?
And Doctor of Blood Island.
And Doctor of Blood Island, of course.
Yeah. Who's that woman? Well, who's cutting her with a knife? Don't know.
That's from another movie.
It has. I mean, what's amazing about this, listen, we've all been lied to by videotape covers, and we've been lied to by videotape names, and we've been lied to many times by the taglines and the description and the cast. But this lies about literally everything. Nothing that you are looking at now is true.
Not even the title, really.
Well, is it true for Mad Doctor Blood Island?
Oh, it's true for that, but it's not true for the movie you're about to get. I mean, they literally could have just closed their eyes and just ran through a Blockbuster and grabbed the first video and shoved it in there, and it would be just as accurate.
It's so bizarre that nobody took the care to even check that they were splicing the credits on the wrong movie.
No.
Like, what the hell?
If there was anyone who cared, they probably started watching this movie in 5 minutes, and it's like, no.
Well, it's like the classic, the pod people thing where scenes from an entirely different movie are in the credits. And I've still never understood why that even. There's a lot of films like that, and I've still never quite understood why that.
I just have a feeling the folks at Regal Video were contracted to deliver 10 movies. They had 9, and then it's like, well, what do we do? What about this piece of crap that we found in the warehouse? And that's literally apparently was found in a warehouse. And they just said, slap something on it. Here's this cover we've been waiting to use for a slasher movie. Stick that on it. What's it got? A mad scientist? Oh, do you mean Dr. X? The Revenge of Dr. X. All right, that hasn't been used, and off it went. I'll bet the whole thing took a half an hour.
The energy produced by all of the people who put this into a VCR, and then we're like, what is going on? The confusion. The energy produced by that confusion could light the eastern seaboard for at least 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
3 weeks. Oh my! Well, let's talk about the director, and apparently he has
another story. I believe this is his only movie, only directed movie, and I mean, who can say? Because for a long time we didn't know he directed this movie. But he was fairly well known for his series of trashy, set in Japan action detective novels. The Kill Me in Blank series, Kill Me in Tokyo, Kill Me in Yokohama, Kill Me in, and they all have, some white guy doing karate against some Asian no good Nick with a beautiful geisha girl posing. Every one of them looks exactly the same. I think they're kind of a little pricey now to find these. There was a time when you could go into a drugstore and there were lots of trash paperbacks.
Yes.
And you could get quite an adult education when nobody else was skimming through them, looking for the racy parts. And then there were a few that I would buy, like the Doc Savages and the Edgar Rice Burroughs releases and everything. And then there were the Tales of Gore, which were absolute trash. And then there were stuff like this.
Yeah. I feel like knowing that this was his Bailiwick, I feel like the topless divers scene, which is the most tedious, unerotic. But I feel like this is the moment when he's like, well, I have to make this horror movie, but I can put in my own aesthetic. I'll just throw in a scene where they have to dive for the weird plant that he's going to fuse with the Venus Flytrap, and I'll just have some topless. I feel like this, knowing that he did this kind of pulp stuff, that scene makes sense now.
Apparently, he was a choreographer too.
You wouldn't know it from this movie.
He's listed as choreographer for 4 episodes of Magical World of Disney.
Huh.
Wow.
Almost Angels Part 1 and 2 and Ballerina Part 1 and 2. As Norman Thompson.
I think you could have choreographed that fall into the volcano a little better, because I, for one, was not convinced. Manster did it a whole lot better.
Oh, Manster.
Now, interestingly, the director of Manster, Kenneth Crane, for years was called the director of this movie. And at first I thought it's just because it's got a few parallels, like the volcano and things. But then it turns out, supposedly, and again, everything I say about this movie has got to be prefaced with, as far as I know, he was the editor of the movie.
I mean, I have to say, the Manster is also
Great.
unhinged, but it's
Yeah.
good
It's
unhinged.
good
Yes.
unhinged. Yeah.
Yes.
It also looks like Magnificent Ambersons compared to this.
Yeah. It also, I mean, my favorite thing, I just to insert it in here because I love it so much. My favorite thing in the Manster is it's just random journalist shows up and the guy's like, oh, here, let me inject you with something that turns you into a monster. Like
It grows an
completely
eye on
just
your
like-
shoulder. Sure.
It's
That
just
happens.
like you're just like how completely random
Yeah.
that whole thing is. Yeah.
Well, this guy apparently, I think he had military connections. He may have been an editor or writer for Stars and Stripes or something like that. I feel like this movie was basically he and his army buddies got together and it's like, let's invest in a movie. Movies are big. And I know some people here and they can make a monster costume and do. I got a buddy who edited a horror movie. We can make our own movie. And who knows how they got Craig into this and all this stuff. It just feels very put together. Like, let's put on a show.
Yeah, one guy was like, "Hey, I got my one buddy. He borrowed a sweater from Ed Wood Jr. He had a great idea."
Yeah.
So
This is that Kenneth Crane. Some of his other editing credits. Geez, I just saw it and I lost it. Well, some exploitation. Slaughter's Big Ripoff. Soul Hustler. But I saw there was another.
And of course, he was the director of Monster.
Half Human.
Half Human, yes.
It must have been the Americanized version of it, I assume.
Oh yes, the god awful Americanized version.
Cut John Carradine in there explaining the crap out of everything.
Right.
that would be a great band name, the John Carradine Exposition.
I mean, I just wish I had a haunted Ouija board that would work where I could ask this guy, the things we want to know, like, where did you get this script? What was it like? Do any original copies exist? No.
Monster from Green Hell, too.
Yep. Monster from Green Hell.
You just said that.
Yeah.
All righty.
Okay.
So this is where the clues started falling together. Fred Olin Ray, we are familiar with his work. He's an exploitation filmmaker who I'm not crazy about a lot of his films, but there's a cool energy to it. And he seems like a really cool guy. He's also one of those folks who, like us, like Jeff especially, loves old-timey actors who were in great stuff that you liked when you were a kid. And then you find out, well, they're still alive, barely, and no one is hiring them. And Fred Olin Ray would go talk to them and make them feel important. And if possible, maybe cast them in a role or something. I really appreciate that about him. You look at what was Aldo Ray's last few, jobs. Olin Ray. He was buddies with Ed Wood. And this was a listing of all of Ed Wood's feature film credits that he gave to Fred Olin Ray in 1978 or so. And there's a bunch in here that we know about. And there's a bunch in here we don't know about. And one of the things was the Venus Flytrap, Japan. And that literally is the very tenuous thread that we have that indicates, and the just general Ed Woodian quality of this film is what makes it pretty convincing to most people that this is at least based on a story that Ed Wood wrote. And we can argue till the cows come home about how many, if any, of the dialogue is Ed Wood. I don't know why anyone would just buy a story from Ed Wood and write new dialogue that sounds like it came from Ed Wood. It seems more convincing that you just save time by keeping the dialogue you were given, but we don't know what the Venus Flytrap was. It a complete story? Was it just a one-page premise? Wood was able to bang out a novel in a couple days.
Yeah.
If you've ever read one of Ed Wood's novels, you can appreciate how he did that. They were terrible, but this is the only way he was able to get money to, I want to say eat, but drink is the actual result. He pounded out hundreds of sleazy paperbacks. So I find it hard to believe that he didn't just write a script for the Venus Flytrap. And it probably took him all of a day.
I like how it says compiled in this order by Ed Wood himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, so don't expect don't get on me that they're not in some order.
And some of these we don't know. Do they exist? A lot of these are very. A lot of these were probably softcore stuff, and who knows how or why any of these films still exist. It's it's crazy.
All we can say for sure is that the Venus Flytrap was not the one where, as Johnny Depp, as Ed Wood said, "This is it. This is the one I'll be remembered for."
Right. That would be 1 million AC/DC.
Yes, of course.
Got a lot of titles, take advantage of it,
The crazy thing is, as far as we, for a long time, people thought it pretty much ended with Necromania, which was a lost film and has been rediscovered. And that's like, no, he had a whole third act of increasingly terrible movies. And I just think the Venus Flytrap really stands out to me as Ed Wood, the way most people think of Ed Wood. That whatever his script was, if what we have with Revenge of Dr. X is any indication, that would very easily fit in with Plan 9 from Outer Space and Bride of the Gorilla and all those others. It's got all those tropes and just little Ed Wood touches.
I just wish I could find out what happened in Las Vegas Cheat.
Yeah, he was a ghost writer.
Amazing.
Can you imagine how bad a writer you are where, like, I got to bring in Ed Wood to ghostwrite for me so people will think it's got a certain quality to it?
Yeah.
I have to ask a question, though. Why? I don't know. The whole idea of finding the Venus Flytrap at that mechanics place that kept all the snakes. And then he's on his way to the plane. So then he drives onto the plane and carries this box on that,
which you're really not allowed to do go to other countries. We're bringing a non-indigenous.
It just seemed like an elaborate way to make that. Why not just have him fly over to Japan and find it there?
Yes, well, because we need to have the southern color with the
mechanic snake wrangler was a friend of somebody's.
Or maybe it was just like, okay, we're shooting the snake thing, but my buddy says he can't really make a giant mutated snake costume, but he can do a mutated plant. Can we just throw in can we just have him find like a Venus flytrap there? I also love the moment when he says, "Oh, the Venus flytrap. Yes, it's a cannibal." It's like, no. Doctor.
That would be a people eating a people, not
that would be
I was just like,
it'd be awesome if Venus flytraps are like eating other Venus flytraps.
Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. But no, they're not cannibals at all.
So funny.
Okay, so the last few years of Ed Wood. Let me not sugarcoat this. I did a whole panel at Dragon Con on Ed Wood. Found a lot of stuff. Went down a lot of rabbit holes. And we make fun. Ed Wood was an interesting character. The last few years were extremely sad, and I think we tend to romanticize alcoholism to a degree we should not, because when and he died an alcoholic, and that's, you just sort of imagine lonely guy sitting in his room drinking himself to death, and he just hunks over and everything. And no, it's a long, degrading, it was a terrible way to go. The last few years were just absolute poverty. Hawking, the only thing of value he had, his typewriter, and then getting it back out and pounding out porn books. And, he was dealing with people who were on an even lower level than him in the filmmaking world. And he had some credits because he had made movies that were actually released by actual studios. The last few years are making first softcore porn and then hardcore porn and then porn loops. I mean, literally just getting, if he had lived long enough, he would have been making shot on video gonzo porn. Yeah. Every now and then the stuff would have a little touch of the Ed Wood genius, like 1 million AC/DC, where they actually have a plastic toy dinosaur that is so laughable. But a lot of it is just absolutely depressing. And just to put the icing on the cake, he often appears in these movies playing himself, and you get to see the ravages of alcohol on this once handsome guy, now kind of bloated and sad and greasy hair. It looks like he hasn't bathed and he's still got an Angora sweater on, but it's not cute anymore. It's not Johnny Depp in a sweater. It's just really, really sad. And eventually he and his wife were kicked out of their apartment. All of his stuff, all of his movie memorabilia, signed things from Lugosi were just thrown into the trash. If he had lived for just a couple more years, he would have been famous. And you know, he still would have died of alcoholism, but people would have been buying his drinks for him at conventions and stuff. It's just the saddest thing. They went to live in a friend's house, and he went to go take a nap, and he was yelling that he couldn't breathe, and everybody was ignoring him because he was always complaining. And then they went in there, and he had died. It's so sad.
But you could say that at least. I mean, this is the most. It's not even a silver lining. But at least he never stopped.
No.
The thing that would have been even more sad is he just gave up and just slowly wasted away.
And in a way, like Fred Olin Ray, except not as happy an ending. He also was someone who worshipped these old guys. A lot of people have kind of Bela Lugosi's son was not very fond of Ed Wood and accused him of exploiting his father, which to a degree he did. If in exploiting him you mean he gave him a job, which no one else was doing.
Yeah,
and Lugosi was grateful, and from what most people say, Lugosi was very fond of him because, you know, the two of them each gave each other what they needed. Bela Lugosi looked at Ed Wood like he was a filmmaker, and Ed Wood looked at Bela Lugosi like he was still a Hollywood star.
That's what made the whole. That's what made Burton's film. That's the whole. Without that,
it's a great story.
Yeah.
You gotta love the taglines on these movies.
Oh, you know,
Necromania, a tale of weird love. Could have been left unsaid, probably.
I've seen that one. So that was a completely lost film, and then they found a softcore version and thought this is as good as it gets, and then they found the complete hardcore version. Just want to say, Ed Wood's hardcore movies are the most unerotic movies outside of something by Ray Dennis Steckler, which these movies will make you swear off sex. They should force people with sex addictions to watch these movies. Cured instantly.
Dropout Wife. Tagline is women's lib or women's fib.
Such a play on words.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love stuff like that. I mean,
I think the saddest one, Nympho Cycler, actually has like 15 minutes of Ed Wood in a dress in a hot tub with the titular title character, and he is obviously drunk, but they're improvising their lines, and it's sad, and but you know what Gregory says is true. I mean, he was still doing it. He had every reason to quit, but he kept on going until his liver finally shut down. He was but it is sad seeing the trajectory of his career.
Yeah, he's only 54 when he died.
Yeah. And again, it's sad. To me, the biggest tragedy is with these old time stars. It doesn't happen anymore because now we have a whole geek culture that keeps that from happening. But a lot of these people died in obscurity.
It would be interesting to know if Ed, I was saying, the Ouija board question would be, hey Ed, since you listed Venus Flytrap among your films, did you ever see The Revenge of Dr. X? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah.
So
because he didn't die until, what was it? Was it 78?
78.
Yeah.
God, that is so close to when he became famous. It was when the 50 worst movies ever made, or the Golden Turkey Awards came out, and they named him the worst director ever.
That was the beginning. Yeah.
People are like, oh well, thank God he didn't know that. He would have been thrilled, I think. Worst director ever. He would have made a spirited drunken defense against that description. And he's not the worst director ever because his films are watchable.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I'll go so far as to say is that every Ed Wood movie that I've seen from his quote unquote classic period is 10,000 times more watchable than The Revenge of Dr. X.
Yeah. It would have been interesting. What would an Ed Wood Venus Flytrap movie have looked like? It would have been different from this. It's hard to imagine it would have been worse.
Same plot, but it would have been a lot more lively and probably a lot more
Yeah.
fun. So,
Some crazy dialogue.
Speaking of dialogue and a person to deliver it, let's talk about James Craig.
James Craig.
Because we were touching on his filmography. So let's give Jeff the opportunity to elaborate on the filmography of James Craig.
I've got some next panel,
yeah, go ahead and go to the second picture because no reason to repeat everything that he's got on there.
I mean, boy, there's some garbage on here, but there's also
all the money can buy. Yeah,
all that money can buy is the alternate title of The Devil and Daniel Webster, which is a marvelous movie.
That is and I'm gonna say right now to anyone who is hanging in there with this episode, do yourself a favor and see All That Money Can Buy, also known as Devil and Daniel Webster, alternate title. It is a proto-noir. A strong case can be made for this. It came out the same year as The Maltese Falcon, which everybody sort of says, well, that's sort of the beginning of noir. You could make a very strong case that many of the things that make The Maltese Falcon sort of maybe the proto or the sort of big bang of noir are also present in All That Money Can Buy. It is a great movie with a fantastic performance by Walter Houston as the devil.
Walter Houston is one of the greatest devils that has ever been put on the screen.
So good, so great. I saw it on the screen a few years ago. Yeah, and it's just
that's the two of them. That's James Craig.
Yeah, and Walter Houston.
Yeah,
who
James
looks like
Craig is much better in this movie.
Oh yeah.
By the time he gets the Revenge of Dr. X, he's quite good at this.
Yeah. So he
and as Doc mentioned, he was one of the last group of actors to be brought into the studio system.
Yeah,
where they would take these people and nurture them and build them up and teach them how to dance and all that. And
speaking of which, he started out with a contract with Paramount. Then he got through like 1938. Then he got a contract with Columbia in 1939. He actually tested for Gone with the Wind for the Rhett Butler part. And after making a bunch of stuff at Columbia in just a couple of years, then he went to Universal. He was in Black Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. Lugosi and Karloff.
Yep.
And Walter Wanger movie, The House Across the Bay.
Yeah.
And then RKO. Then he had a contract with RKO. It's great. And every time he moves to a new theater, he has a big hit. Or a new studio. It seems like he has a big hit, and then he kind of tails off. And then MGM in 1943, I think. And it basically, some of these quotes just kill me. So
I just want to say, if you think the Revenge of Dr. X is maybe a little too good for your taste, check out the Doomsday Machine and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, no.
And get back to us. Boy, he made some stinkers toward the end, and then he got out of the business and went into real estate. I'm sure he was good at it.
Well, it looks like he worked for MGM from 43 or maybe 42 to 55. And he was under contract for $2,500 a week.
Good money back then.
No kidding. I mean,
good money now, actually.
My mom and dad's starting salary as teachers, annual salary was about $2,500 in the early 50s for a year.
For a year.
The fact that he started out so well and acquitted himself well, he's very good in All That Money Can Buy. It just makes you think that even in the tail end of his career, that he was still that scenery chewing performance was a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the right choice, maybe a terrible choice, but it makes you think that he's not a bad actor. He's just over the top.
Yeah.
In every way, and it might be that for all we know, he knew he was in something terrible, and he was just trying to have as much fun as possible with it. And just go for broke. You never know.
He's like, nobody's ever going to watch this movie ever again.
Yeah.
Maybe because when you're acting in another country with a bunch of actors who maybe don't even understand English, you do go over the top and pitch for the fences.
He was just to get into the detail, and again, this is just in Wikipedia. So he was married 4 times.
Oh boy.
His first wife was 39 to 54. Second wife, 59 to 63. The third wife, 63 to 64.
Oh,
And then the last one, it doesn't say when they got married, but it does say his first wife claimed that he hit her.
Oh.
And in 1963, a judge issued an arrest warrant for Craig for refusing to attend a divorce hearing involving, this says his second wife, Jane, but it lists her as his third wife. So he turned himself in and successfully argued for his relief. She alleged he had broken into their home, beaten her up, and cut up her clothes. She also alleged he had a problem with drinking. But this just gets so bizarre. In 1967, Jane killed her 11-year-old son by a previous marriage and herself.
Oh.
Yikes.
And that was like 4 years. That was 4 years after that, you know.
God. Dang.
Yeah,
All right. So
where's that movie?
Yeah.
During his 54 divorce hearing, Craig revealed he made money from a variety of sources, including racehorses, a cafe, a chicken ranch, and carpet.
Chicken ranch.
Well,
he did not make a lot of money on racehorses.
Mostly.
This is very specific to Craig, obviously, in his life, but this also maps over so many actors who began at the tail end of the studio system and then never really could make the transition out of the studio system into, I mean, if they were lucky, they went into television.
Right.
Yeah, he did a bunch of TV shows and stuff, but
and somehow hit them jackpot on TV. But there's so many actors who just progressively after there's no more, after the studio system, went away in the 50s, next thing you know, you're in Italy, making making a movie with people who don't speak English. And you're
I could see this guy on Perry Mason.
Years before,
he was also in The Man They Could Not Hang, the Karloff Columbia flick.
Yeah.
That's a great Karloff.
I mean, I could see this actor being in all those old TV shows. I could see him on Perry Mason jumping up the end. It's like, that's right, I did it, and I'd do it again.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man. Moving on to Tsukunomi.
And that is the lady herself. She is. I don't know that she's still with us, but she, up to fairly recently, she was, because some folks that are obsessed with this movie sought her out and found her and had a lovely interview with her. She doesn't remember a whole lot about the film other than to say everyone was nice and she enjoyed doing it. She was just sort of picked. I guess her husband may have known some of the people that were making it. She was not a professional actress by any means, and enjoyed it.
Yep.
And just one of those things, and was kind of surprised to find out that anyone remembered it and probably remembers more about than she does. So,
and she's fine in this.
Yeah.
Given the context in which she finds herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's not
the
weak.
She's amazingly, her character is amazingly patient with this guy, but does finally kill him off.
Exactly.
Finally. That's great. I'm glad you found that picture. In years, she looks adorable.
This is seems like she's enjoyed being a mom and grandma, and is probably a little tickled that there's fans who are willing to fly out to have lunch with her and talk about this.
All those people who did like one movie that then became a cult thing, and then in their dotage they get all of this weird love from all of these strange cinephiles who's tracked them down. That's got to be a both bizarre and delightful thing.
I want to know who played the snake handler and the caretaker at the resort, because those two guys were entertaining at the very least.
The snake handler had the feel to me of one of the investors in the movie, one of the drinking buddies of the director or something. It just like, yeah, I can play that role.
I love how I kept saying, just hang out here with the snakes. No charge.
Yeah.
No charge to hang out with the snakes. It's fine.
So, Bill, who's this?
This is
James Yagi.
Thank you. James Yagi, who has the small role at the beginning and is best known as that's him on the bottom on the American version of King Kong versus Godzilla. He's one of the guys who is telling us what's happening around the world. And when I saw this movie, I was like, boy, that guy looks familiar. But I've seen King Kong versus Godzilla about a gazillion times. So yeah, he's got a distinctive look. I believe this was his last role before he died.
I hadn't seen King Kong versus Godzilla since I was a child, and then the Metrograph, one of the theaters here in New York, screened it, and I went, and it was just, I can't tell you what a delight it is to see those 60s kaiju movies on the big screen, especially if you've seen them since you were a kid. Again, wonderful. Also, in its way, slightly unhinged in the way. That
if you ever get a chance to watch the original Japanese version,
it was.
Oh, good. Oh, so you're
no. This is the Metrograph. This is an art house.
Okay.
The files are definitely not going to be playing any Toho features.
So you didn't hear the Creature from the Black Lagoon theme. You heard the original composer.
They always play the originals with subtitles, and which is also great to see it in that way.
My one knowledge of having not gone to movies in New York City, didn't know anything about the Metrograph until we got an offer to, and I don't remember how we got it, but they had done this super good 4K reproduction of Possession.
Yes.
And they provided links to us to review it, and then ahead of when they played it at the theater, which I was
I'm sure I mentioned this before, but the co-writer of Possession, Frederick Tutton, was one of my professors at the City College of New York when I was. I'm like good friends with Fred Tutton, and years ago they did a screening of Possession at Anthology Film Archives, and Fred came and just told wonderful stories about the writing and the making of Possession. Which also gives us a chance to say rest in peace, Sam Neill, who seems like a super decent guy. I love it when somebody passes away and you find out, oh, he was wonderful, wonderful human being.
Yeah. And he seems like he really was a good guy, and boy, he was in so many great roles.
So great stuff. Yeah.
Also, Gregory, James Yagi and Bill and Doc. James Yagi did an episode of The Twilight Zone called No Time Like the Past. Where the scientist attempts to use a time machine to prevent tragedies. The star of that episode is a James Craig lookalike.
Oh,
not
Dana Andrews.
And it goes around in circles.
He also did a couple episodes of Outer Limits, I believe. So
I'd forgotten that Dana Andrews did a Twilight Zone. I need to do I started to do a Twilight Zone rewatch and didn't get very far before I was distracted, so I need to pick that back up.
He was in the second episode of The Outer Limits, 100 Days of the Dragon.
Andrews.
Foreign power replaces a presidential figure inside the U.S. government with an agent.
Flytrap Man.
Flytrap Man.
Love it.
He's one of those characters that benefits best from not seeing the whole thing. The whole thing, it looks pretty lame, but bits and pieces. The head's cool. The dickies are good. The hands are kind of great. They got spikes on his stomach. But the whole doesn't equal the sum of the parts.
Again, if you were a kid, you'd want to draw this.
Oh yeah,
cool-looking monster from the.
Yeah, I think I agree.
Kid's got a red crayon. He's got, and by the way, he puts out this smoke that puts you to sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. I'm so glad you mentioned that. It was like, and they're like,
yeah, I'm not going to eat them. I'm going to go, harass the villagers.
Oh, are those?
Put them to sleep so I can slip out.
I suppose they're supposed to be flower petals, but they kind of look like lungs sticking out there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, what's the Donald Pleasance film where he's
The Mutations?
The various plant people.
Okay, that's another costume I would love to have as a cosplay. That Venus Flytrap monster is boss.
You could do a whole fun retrospective of nothing but killer plant movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's Enough.
Okay, so we should all go to Dragon Con. I'll be this guy. Gregory can be the Venus Flytrap guy from Mutations.
Somebody could be the
Jeff
blood
is
beast
going to be the
horror.
man-eater from Hydra. And
Yeah.
Doc is Audrey, too.
What
Come
about
on,
the blood
come
beast? The blood beast.
Come on, Bill. Look at me. I'm clearly going to be Donald Pleasance
Yes.
in any kind of cosplay that I go and do.
Yeah, fair.
So, come on.
Yeah, I don't think Yul Brynner made any plant
Killer
monster
plant
movies. That I
No,
can
no,
think of.
At least not that we know.
Well, I mean, he's
Wait,
the worst thing.
Jeff, did you just compare me to Yul Brynner? Because I'll take that.
Yeah,
compliment. Sure,
yeah,
why not?
really.
That's the
So
first
let it
guy I
be-
could think of
so let
that.
it be
Yeah, you think of who was bald? Who was
Was
shaved
big,
head?
yeah.
Okay.
The worst thing about the Venus
Odd
Flytrap
job.
monster is that it takes him forever to like get off his ass and leave his pot. You know, I mean, he's just
he
sitting
does
around
though.
there.
It's kind of awesome scene.
I mean, look at him. He's
also
cool looking.
evolutionary speaking. Why would your feet also be mouths? It's just not. It's
Oh, well,
not.
that's weird.
Yeah.
That's not. That's not.
But your hands are mouths, so your feet might as well be, right?
No.
Not how it works at all.
Didn't you love the underwater
Eat as you
scenes?
go along.
I mean, that's a whole difficulty that I felt like they didn't really.
Yeah,
meet.
I'm not an evolutionary scientist, but
The underwater scenes.
They got the
And-
spray
and-
painted styrofoam things on the side for electricity, and
Yeah.
I love it.
With the cartoon Strickfaden effects. Only
Mhm.
Yes. Oh my
yeah,
god.
I might have to put, your mother, the earth was your mother, your father was lightning. I might have to just put that into a poem, and just just see if anyone reading or hearing ever like
Yeah,
goes like, wait, are you
write a
talking
poem.
about Dr. X? What? Like
Write
the
a
most
poem that
obscure
is
illusion I
mostly
could
made up of
possibly
Ed Wood dialogue, and see if anybody.
Yeah.
Genius.
as long as he doesn't eat lightning and crap thunder.
That's right.
Oh my
Those-
gosh.
Those are the Road Warriors.
Yeah. All right.
Wow. Well,
Well,
What
Oh,
else
so
can we
remember
say about
what did
this
we say? What did we say before we started the episode? This will be
yeah.
a quick one.
It always
Uh-huh.
goes this way.
Yeah,
Hour and a half later, we're wrapping up. All right.
longer than the movie itself, better than the movie itself. The faint praise, indeed.
You can find this everywhere. It's on Tubi.
Oh.
It's on YouTube. It's but don't spend money on it if you can help it.
Yeah.
If you get one of
And-
those DVDs that promises you 1,100 horror movies for $13, it's guaranteed to be on it.
Oh man, I wonder. I've got a couple of those. I wonder
Right
what's on.
between White Pongo
Well, remember,
and
you got a lot of titles to look for.
Yeah, I know. Which title is it under? Maybe it's on there twice.
Hey, Doc, is there any feedback?
There might be some feedback. Let's
Could be
move
some
along
feedback.
to some feedback. Jeff, why don't you get us started on that?
Well, let's go with episode 136, Eaten Alive from Bon Pourvu. Who wants to read that? Bill.
Oh, Bon Pourvu, 6 days ago, says, I don't really want to talk about this unpleasant mess of a movie, apart from saying that Neville Brand would have been a great Ben Grimm. But I do have a true story that still makes me smirk. I had to stay at my auntie's back in the 1980s, and she had this bootleg VHS tape with Death Trap scrawled on it. No art box cover. She said it's got Michael Caine and Christopher Reeve in it. Some kind of mystery. Tape was played, and the first words spoken were, name's Buck, and I'm raring too. You know the rest. I looked at my auntie, whose jaw had hit the floor, and said, I don't think that's Michael Caine. True story, LOL. Thank you for sharing, sir.
Oh,
Thank you,
my.
Buck.
Yeah, I wonder
Excellent.
how they felt when they got to the kiss between Michael Caine. Christopher Reeve.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
Death
good
Trap,
one.
yeah, it is.
All right. Episode 270, Madhouse. Doctor
Yeah, I'll do that.
from Cinerax.
Cinerax has the following to say about Madhouse. I learned from D&D that dis, D-I-S, was, in old writings, another name for hell. So that was probably why the villain was called that.
Okay.
And I knew that as a kid because in the episode of the issue, the special of the X-Men, where the X-Men go to hell supposedly, one of the characters makes a joke when they're in hell approaching the city, and they say, "Hey, this must be the place." Get it?
Yes. Boom, buddy.
Okay,
And I looked it up and I was like, oh, Dis is a name for one of the cities of hell. There you go.
So these are for episode 271, Night of the Seagulls. The first one is from Jerry that guest hosted, and I'm going to... Well, Gregory, it's your turn. So
Sure. Jerry Chandler says, Night of the Seagulls. Oh my God, that's such a terrifying sight. You should really consider blurring out that guest host guy. Damn, why did you use my picture as the thumbnail? Oh, wait, not my picture. Never mind.
it was one of the blind dead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't get a super long missive from him since he was here, and it would mean that he forgot to say a bunch of stuff.
You know, I can give some live feedback right now on Night of the Seagulls for Jerry, if you like.
Okay.
In a moment.
Well, we have one more from Brian Clark.
Yes, Brian Clark.
My favorite of the series. I dig the addition of Lovecraftian elements.
Yes.
Yes, we did too, Brian.
I wanted to compliment Jerry. This is my feedback officially, Jerry, if you're listening, which I know you are. That you are correct. If you approach Night of the Seagulls as a Lovecraftian sort of folk horror 70s horror film, it's great. If you approach it as a Blind Dead movie, not so much. So I think that's the way to, and I think that's often the case with series of any kind, where sometimes if there's an entry in the franchise that just seems very odd, if you just pretend it's not really part of the franchise, sometimes you can relax and enjoy it and not have the franchise on your expectations of it, you know, preventing you from digging what is otherwise, a fun horror movie. I will say, however, also, Jerry, that my favorite Blind Dead is the second one. There.
Halloween 3 is a great example of what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, Jeff. How does somebody give us some feedback, sir?
Talk to us. No. You can leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine YouTube channel right there by the episode. Or you can send emails to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com. Or we also have Facebook groups you can make comments in. Yeah. So check us out.
Signals, ham
we
radio.
Really appreciate comments, because people like point out stories that we didn't know. Like,
right.
I'm not sure why Eaten Alive reminded Bon Pourvu of Death Trap, but that's okay. It was a cool story.
No, I think because I think Death Trap was one of the alternate titles for Eaten Alive. So
well, there we go.
There you go.
Okay.
It's like all those people who ran out and got Jack Frost for their kids because they thought it was a fun little Christmas comedy. For
that was the line from. Okay, now I got it.
Yeah,
it's all
line, Robert Englund.
Yes.
Yep. And then Quentin Tarantino liked it so much he stuck it in Kill Bill.
Yep, he sure did.
Yep.
All right. Well, we do this every 2 weeks. On the next episode, we have a fun film. I believe.
Is it better than this one? Could it be?
Yes.
I believe it is. Gregory, I believe you picked this one.
I did.
Tell us about it.
Next time is from 1978, and it is The Shout with Susanna York, Alan Bates, John Hurt, and Tim Curry.
Wow.
It is. This term didn't exist, fortunately, in the 70s, but it is probably closer to elevated horror than 70s fare. It's a, and Jeff let me know just before we began recording that the Criterion Collection is putting out a 4K restoration of this film in October. So that means it's highfalutin and cinephilia. I've never seen it. I've wanted to see it for some time. I've read about it. It's mentioned. I've certainly read about it in Jonathan Rigby's Euro Gothic, his big book about European horror.
Yeah.
Or it's either that or it's an English Gothic, but it might be a UK film. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and I hope I like it, but I know for a fact that it will be better than The Revenge of Dr. X.
You're going out on a limb. I don't know.
All words.
If Chad was here, maybe he'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
But without Chad
Susanna
here,
York, Alan Bates,
It's a good
John
cast.
Hurt, Tim Curry. I guess you already said that.
And
I
Bill
have seen this.
Yeah, Bill talked about it as part of a folk horror panel at one of the cons. I think you mentioned
without having seen it.
without having seen it.
So just to let you know, if you go see me
at
at a panel, I will always be never in doubt, but often wrong.
it's great.
Confidently wrong.
I always think it's great when the Grue-Crew is able to pick a movie that nobody has seen.
Yeah, that's
It's
pretty
great.
rare.
I saw it.
Oh, that's
I've
what
seen it.
Jeff saw it.
Oh, Jeff,
I've seen
Jeff
it.
did
I've
see
seen
it.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, Doc said. Well, I think it's great to pick a movie
that half.
that two people
Half the group hasn't seen.
have not seen. I always
Oh, my God.
Even more special.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
And well, but also think of it this way: we're up to 270 some episodes, and nobody felt the need to watch it before. So
Yeah.
well, I'm just joking. I'm looking forward to it. I didn't really.
Good. So am I. That's why I picked it.
All right. Well, that is our episode for tonight. I want to thank Gregory for stepping in for Chad. Thank you, sir, so very
Appreciate
much.
it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for Bill and Jeff for joining me as well. And let's say goodnight.
Night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, James Craig.
Gruesome Magazine.